Alright, Travis Wayne Goodsell. The one thing that all Mormons are taught, even investigators, is the first vision. In the first vision, Joseph Smith is pondering and praying over the Bible, comes across James, and decides, you know what, maybe I should make it happen. Turn the spiritual into the physical and actually go and pray rather than have thoughts and prayers. And thus we get the first vision. And this was supposed to be the bicentennial year, where the whole year was supposed to have a whole bunch of stuff on it. And it sort of got scrubbed because of coronavirus, as they claim. But I had a person comment. I'm assuming he's Mormon. He had his channel name called High to Kolob. That's uniquely Mormon. And he was saying, he was trying to use slang speech rather than just communicating, and sort of like, dude, man, bro, those types of things in there. But he had been watching, I guess, a few of my videos, or at least two. He noticed how I changed. He watched the 2017 video back in July, which is now over 37 thousand views, and then saw, he says, the one on Adam on Diamond, but they're both on the old channel. They're not on this new one. And he's asking, what happened, man? In this one, it's like you believe in the church and Joseph Smith, and then Adam on Diamond, it's like you don't believe in anybody after Joseph Smith. And so I used the first vision to communicate with him, not trying to be mean, because he didn't seem like he was being mean. He was just curious and wondering. And so I said the first vision teaches us to turn spiritual into physical. And so when I did my research on church history, that's the read, ponder, and pray part, then I found, and I informed him of it, Canandaigua, New York. And Canandaigua, New York, what I found was that Joseph Smith Sr. was the Master Mason at the Freemason Lodge there. William Morgan was in Canandaigua, New York, talking to the lodge there in Canandaigua, New York, about his books that he was working on with the Batavian Press, about a conspiracy to overthrow America. And that's where he ended up getting arrested, was in Canandaigua. And then he disappears, and Smith Sr. then goes on to publish the Book of Mormon. And that was a connection that I had already identified, but then I found, when I did research on Heber C. Kimball under Masonry, holy crap, he also claims to have gone to the Freemason Lodge in Canandaigua, New York, right before it all hit the fan. And reading over his information, I realize that he's outright lying. I did find his journal information and it's different than what's on Wikipedia. But both still show falsified information about what really happened. And the first clue for all of us as former Mormons is that he doesn't mention Joseph Smith Sr. at all. He wrote this later on in his journals, and he doesn't mention, oh yeah, I went to Canandaigua, New York, and that's where Joseph Smith Sr. was before the church was founded, and I applied to become the 7th rank after already rising 3 ranks to Master Mason, where I was in Victor Flats Lodge. In just 1 year. And Joseph Smith Sr. approved it, and I became a 7th rank Royal Arch degree in the York Rites, even though I was in Scottish Rites territory. So, yeah, none of that is mentioned, but that's what you have to do in order to do church history research. You have to verify every claim that people make. Otherwise, we just all accept whatever is spoken of under the Wikipedia thing under Masonry for Heber C. Kimball, and we leave it at that. We don't bother to say, hey, wait a minute, is there anybody else who was there? Where is that located on the map? And et cetera, et cetera. You have to do all that research to make sure that you don't miss anything, because as I've gone over from the marriage of Lucy and Joseph Sr. to 1829, with some other stuff like Heber C. Kimball added to it since then, I'm still finding extra information that needs to edit in the first publication that I did on my research. For example, Harmony, Pennsylvania. And the Coopersmith shop, not the Coppersmith shop. That one I needed to correct. But the corrected information gave a better historical account than what I was figuring out. Because if he had a coppersmith shop, everybody would know he has copper, and so they'd say, "Oh yeah, the plates, you just made those." Whereas a coopersmith shop, well, he obviously has a farm. He needs to make barrels and so as he's making barrels for gunpowder, he needs copper, and that's how he would have got it instead. And the copper was necessary for the protection of America, stockpiling the militias in the York Rites areas to make sure that there was no uprising by the Scottish Rites, as William Morgan had warned. And so that's how he was able to get away with it. And then, of course, the New Israelites is where he learned how to forge metal plates with the Justice Winchell, who joined. He was a forger. And so, following Joseph Smith's first vision, I then, as Joseph Smith said himself, I have learned for myself that instead of Presbyterianism, I can now place in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is not true. And when I mean the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, it's not Joseph's church. His church was the Church of Christ. It always was. even the Joseph Smith papers, as you have to click on the link for the name of the church, as they put the current text over what was the original. Pisses me off that they are still trying to pull the wool over our Mormons' eyes with the Joseph Smith papers. They couldn't just say, here's the original documents, here's what the documents say, and we're not going to tamper with it, we're not going to comment on it. Here it is. Let researchers go at it. But nope, instead they had to cover it up. And so I can't trust the publications unless they put the footnotes at the bottom instead. But the publications, they've made sure only the rich can afford them. But I couldn't. Just as I keep digging into church history, I get more and more upset about the scam that they pulled on Joseph Smith, usurping his organization. And but that's how true Mormonism works, to learn the truth and dispel falsehoods. And as a result, I'm now an ex-Mormon. I haven't taken my name off the list. I just don't go anymore, don't want anything to do with it.